Welcome back, America. So glad to have this next guest. He always gives us facts and truth, no spin. I always enjoy having the conversation. I know Amanda does too. Joining us now from the great state of Georgia, Congressman Austin Scott. Congressman, great to have you back on the show.
Hey, John, Amanda, good to see you. Thanks for having me.
We are honored to have you on. I know you want to talk about your colleague from the great state of Georgia, what's happened to him, what the the January 6th police have done, even after the Capitol Police gave a pretty irrefutable letter saying Congressman Loudermilk didn't do anything wrong. He just gave a normal constituent tour. Today they put out the video and they're all hyperventilating again. He's not in the Capitol. He doesn't do anything wrong. How do they get away with this?
John, let me just read for your viewers what the Capitol Police said. And let me remind you, this is the same police that the committee has brought before them repeatedly to testify and say we should be respecting the things that these police officers are saying, and they do a wonderful job of protecting us here at the Capitol. I want to give them all the credit they deserve for that. And I want to read to you word for word what their statement is. There is no evidence that Representative Loudermilk entered the U.S. Capitol with this group on January the 5th, 2021. We train our officers on being alert for people conducting surveillance or reconnaissance, and we do not consider any of the activities we observed as suspicious. There's a little more to the letter. That's the conclusion, but they go bit by bit into the things that the committee says they deem to be suspicious, and the Capitol Hill Police refute them indisputably. And then the committee turns around and came back after Barry again today with another post. Now let's think about what Barry Loudermilk did. They accused him. Barry said, I didn't do it. In fact, I want the police to investigate it. The police investigated. The police say he didn't do it. And then the committee comes back and accuses him again, even after the police, said he didn't do it. And so I think that committee, which is clearly a partisan witch hunt, is sitting there hiding behind an exemption to liability for the conduct of members of Congress. And I will tell you, Barry Loudermilk's a good man. He's a middle-class man. I think it'd be very interesting if he had the money to bring suit against the staff members that have posted this against him and the members of the committee that have engaged in this witch hunt against him, especially since the Capitol Police have already said there's nothing to this, and then to turn around and watch what the clowns on the committee posted today. So, again, they've proven they're nothing but a partisan witch hunt. None of them deserve to be members of Congress anymore. And I hope Representative Loudermilk is able to actually put them into a court and be awarded damages for what they are doing to him and his family's reputation. And he, by the way, John, is getting threats to him and his family. Of course, threats of violence against a Republican. That's actually what Democrats encourage, isn't it?
It is. We've seen it.
And Congressman, I don't know if it's obfuscation. I don't really know what their ultimate aim is with this committee. Well, I do know what their ultimate aim is with this committee hearing, but it feels a little bit like a miscalculation because you only had 20 million viewers last week, and I think that's even debatable. This week, they've canceled the broadcast. I think that there's going to be even more support galvanized behind Congressman Loudermilk and a lot of these people that have been targeted by the January 6th committee. Do you think that that's going to drive voters who are more down the middle to look at these Republicans and say, they were targeted by these crazy Democrats, maybe I should go the other way this time?
Oh, I think the January 6th committee is absolutely backfiring on the people that put it in. And I think that the people in the general public that were actually supportive of the committee are now getting to see what the committee is all about. I mean, when you schedule a primetime hearing and you have teleprompters and you have skits and everything else, and then you turn around and you make a very pointed accusation against a member of Congress, and like they did with Barry Loudermilk says, hey, didn't do it, but I know you're not going to take my word for it, so I want the police to investigate it. The very police force that you've had testifying before your committee, which I have a tremendous amount of respect for, comes back and says, didn't do anything wrong, there's nothing even suspicious here, and then they turn around and go after him again the next day. I think people see that this is a witch hunt, and it is an extremely partisan witch hunt, and I hope those members that are engaging in this pay a price at the polls this coming November.
Yeah, there has to be a consequence for putting on this big of a charade. There really does. And I did my college dissertation on Joe McCarthy. This is worse than some of the stuff he did. There's no doubt about it. It's just crazy.
Absolutely.
Congressman, you have been such an eloquent voice on something Americans really care about: gas prices, food prices. Joe Biden wants to go to Saudi Arabia and beg for more oil from the OPEC cartel while we have bundles of it here in America. Does he have this calculation wrong?
He's absolutely got it wrong. OPEC is a cartel. The members of OPEC are not our friends. There are people in this world, countries in this world that share our interests and they share our values. The OPEC cartel does neither of those. We do engage in, if you will, transactional relationships with those countries simply because there is a need that we each have with each other. But what he has done is to make us more dependent on people who don't share our interests or our values by things like shutting down the Keystone Pipeline. He's where we could have gotten the oil from Canada, transported through a pipeline to our refineries inside the United States. He's now complaining that the United States doesn't have enough refineries when I candidly, seriously doubt that he would issue a permit to build a refinery when he actually withdrew the permit to build the pipeline. I mean, the guy can't get out of his own way, and what we need is him to get out of America's way. And unfortunately, he keeps doubling down on his mistakes instead of backing up. If he wants to be a great president, he should just take us back to where we were before he got elected.
Congressman, quick question. We've got about 45 seconds left. You're from the great state of Georgia, a big ag state, and I know we ask you about this every time you come on, but I wanted to get an update on the gas and supply chain crisis with respect to the ag industry.
Well, yeah, I mean, our big farmers buy diesel 9,000 gallons at the time. So, you can take, what you're doing at every time you pull in at the gas pump, and you can multiply that exponentially, right? And so a tank of diesel that a couple of years ago cost $25,000 or $20,000, is now $45,000. If you look at nitrogen, and I don't have the numbers right here in front of me, fertilizer, the input costs have gone up exponentially with regard to agriculture. That's having a tremendous impact on the cost of groceries at the store. But more than that, our farmers ever had and still end up upside down because of the input costs. And there will be no...
It's unbelievable, Congressman. With that, we're going to have to leave it.